Glenn Kessler is one of the many people who have since taken buyouts at the Washington Post, or have recently taken buyouts at the Washington Post. They're losing their celebrity masthead so quickly, Michael, quicker than you can say democracy dies in darkness, which also, by the way, he includes in the subheading of his piece, of course. But he talks about over and over again in this essay how Will Lewis, publisher of the Post, asks him at one point, how can we get more Fox News viewers to read the Washington Post? And Kessler talks over and over again in this essay about how that's gnawed at him for years, because he thinks he responded to Will Lewis something like, well, we have to tell the truth and they're not gonna like that. And it's like, bro, you think you're gonna make it on Substack? Like, maybe you can make enough to feed yourself, as Tucker says, journalists eat out of vending machines. Maybe you can continue to do that on Substack or whatever else. But continuing to believe, this is Acosta's a Substacker, Glenn Kessler's a Substacker, Terry Moran is now a Substacker, bloviating about how Donald Trump has such an ugly ego. And it's like, conversations from literally 2015 that everybody has moved beyond and hashed out, and you may still disagree with them, but they're no longer salient to the average voter's mind or the political conversation. He would say that's kind of my point. How are we still not talking about why Donald Trump is such an ugly, evil, egomaniacal man? It's like, because people can't feed their children, bro. And that's just like the crazy thing that they don't get. They move to these new media platforms and they bring this old mentality with them, Michael. It drives me completely crazy.
Are you serious? This should be your Christmas.
You're right. I know, I should celebrate.
They're living their Greek tragedy. This is beautiful. The supply of shitlib journalists far outweighs the demand. These people are completely interchangeable and replaceable. They don't have the capacity. I'm not a nice person, but they don't even have my crappy level of charisma to hold an audience, because they're horrible and they're despicable people. And it's hilarious to think that, this building won't stand when I'm gone, and they leave and everyone's like, Taylor Wren's left. No one cared. She's, now she's doing live streams with 50 viewers. What's that one's name? The Feminist Frequency. She's on the side of a milk carton now. Remember her? She was a big thing in 20. There was this girl freaking out about there's not enough women in video games.
Oh, wow.
Huge thing with Gamergate. You can't even get arrested now. So these people come. What about what's her name? Who was the one with the Arab one from I don't even remember her name. She was everywhere, and then they just dropped them. Cindy Sheehan during the Iraq War. So these people don't have a good shelf life, because here's the thing. Any business has to have a competitive advantage. So what am I doing differently than you, Emily? What is Emily doing differently from this other streamer, or so on and so forth, right? It's not just like, if we have the same ideas, that idea is already on the market. Why am I listening to Glenn Kessler when I could be listening to any of a dozen other people? It never enters his head, because these people have been told and believe that they're so unique and special. To talk about, they think Trump's an egomaniac. I honestly think, I swear to you, everything I own, that Trump is far more humble than Jim Acosta. Trump is self-effacing. He jokes about himself. We've all seen it. I've never seen Jim Acosta in any sense make a joke where he's the butt. It's not a thing. And these people have already had the rude awakening. And I am just ecstatic that they're being kind of driven out into the streets.
So I want to use this to talk a little bit about Howard Stern. And I think we have a clip of Trump. So we're in another 10-year cycle where there are leaks to tabloids about Howard Stern potentially leaving SiriusXM, which obviously he was instrumental in blowing up, and Les Moonves at CBS at the time was furious because Stern, on his way out, promoted SiriusXM on terrestrial, which was horrifying to terrestrial at the time. They didn't really take SiriusXM seriously, but here we are. Howard Stern himself is someone who didn't take podcasts seriously. Back in 2015, he told Bloomberg Bloomberg in a big profile as he was renegotiating his contract then that podcasters were losers. And I guess this is an enormously biased conversation because here we have two podcasters talking about it. But Brian Glenn of Real America's Voice actually asked Donald Trump about the rumors that Howard Stern might be hanging it up, might be done over at SiriusXM. Bear in mind, Howard Trump has become proudly woke. He calls himself woke. He did softball interviews with Joe Biden, with Kamala Harris. He talks about begging Hillary to come on. And so here we go. I'm going to go ahead here and roll this clip of Donald Trump in the White House just this evening being asked by Brian Glenn about Howard Stern.
Brian, I've got an entertainment-based question for you. A few weeks ago, Stephen Colbert announced that he was leaving his show. Howard Stern announced that him and Sirius XM Radio are parting ways. Do you think the hate Trump business model that's been in the entertainment business is going out of business because it's not popular with the American people?
Well, it hasn't worked, and it hasn't worked really for a long time. And I would say pretty much from the beginning, Colbert has no talent. I mean, I could take anybody here. I could go outside on the beautiful streets and pick a couple of people that do just as well or better. They get higher ratings than he did. He's got no talent. Fallon has no talent. Kimmel has talent. They're next. They're going to be going. I hear they're going to be going. I don't know, but I would imagine because they get, you know, Colbert has better ratings than Kimmel or Fallon. You know that. Howard Stern is a name I haven't heard. I used to do a show. We used to have fun. But I haven't heard that name in a long time. What happened? He got terminated?
Yeah, they're going to separate ways because I think offering salary-wise is real low than what he's getting.
You know when he went down?
Whenever you want.
You know when he went down? No, before. When he endorsed Hillary Clinton, he lost his audience.
Right.
People said, give me a break. He went down when he endorsed Hillary Clinton.
Mr. President.
So that's actually kind of an interesting point. Michael, what did you make of that?
Howard Stern is by far the most disappointing figure in our culture in terms of how much of a badass he was to what he's become. Number two is Penn Jillette. For people who don't know what Howard Stern used to be like, here's one of his jokes, and this is very offensive, but doesn't have vulgar language. When he was starting on the radio, he had a bit where he was talking to God, and he tells God that we call my wife's miscarriage Aquaman because he lives in the toilet. This is what the level of his discourse was. When he had rejected book covers for one of his books, one of them is Mein Kampf, the other one is The My Lai Massacre, and there's arms buried waving at him. On the back cover of one of his books, it's him and OJ putting Howard's wife into a meat grinder and OJ giving him the thumbs up. So he was by far the edgiest. He sent one of his minions to interview Jennifer Flowers at her press conference when she revealed her affair with Bill Clinton in '92, and he asked her if Clinton used a condom and if she was planning to sleep with any other presidential candidates. This is what Howard Stern used to be. So to watch him like on his knees, genuflecting in front of Hillary Clinton, if you watch Hillary Clinton with Zach Galifianakis on Between Two Ferns, that was edgier than Stern's interview of her. And Hillary Clinton, by all accounts, off camera, people might not know this, actually has a very good sense of humor. And because it's very kind of sarcastic, she has to hide it. And that's why she comes off as so stilted and robotic. That's the perfect place to see that side of Hillary.
How do you know that?
Saw none of that. Oh, she jokes about killing Vince Foster. Like this you would never see. But if she does it publicly, forget it. It's a wrap.
That's edgy.
Right, that's
She
funny.
walks around in sweats at home that just say Clinton body count on the back.
Right. So for Stern, what a disgrace. What a horrible. He's just it makes me so sad because so much of me and people my age were raised on him and his show. In fact, there's a book written about me by Harvey Pekar called Ego and Hubris. It's a graphic novel. And the only reason it happened was Harvey got invited to do Stern's show, and then the producer of the movie said, Harvey doesn't have nothing to do. If you want to hang out with him, this is your chance. And that was because of Stern. So I looked up to him a lot in his complete take no prisoners approach. And now it's just, oh my God, like what has become of him? It's so sad and disgusting. And for what? Like how much money do you need?
Right. Well, that's the thing. I mean, it's so interesting. I don't know if he's actually going to leave this time. He always does this when he's in the middle of contract negotiations, or at least he always seems to do this when he's in the middle of contract negotiations. It's kind of haggle through the press. It's what we were talking about with foreign policy, actually. Earlier, Michael. We conduct all kinds of business through the press, but if he does leave, I mean, the Daily Mail in their report from their sources that he had at least been telling people he's considering leaving, they said his listenership has gone down like dramatically. They had a figure, I think they were saying like 120,000 people listening to a Stern show, and that means it's similar to Colbert that you're gonna, I mean, you might still be popular with this niche of people, but does that justify to the company the overhead that you carried with you from the old media era, where Colbert's overhead was so high that they were losing, according to Puck, like $40 million a year on the number one show, the number one broadcast network show in late night. So Stern, I mean, in this weird way, he's almost the victim of his own success. He made the country coarser, he destroyed the gatekeepers, and now he's like pissing on the podcasters on his way out, as he's like not even able to like muster his edginess anymore and has been kind of outflanked by them. It's weirdly like Shakespearean.
He's a sad old man in a shitty wig. And this is exactly what he feared becoming, his own dad, and he has.
Over the years, I hope I've been clear about this. I'm not just pro-birth, I'm pro-life. And being pro-life, of course, means standing with mothers not only before their baby is born, but long after. And that is exactly why I partner with Preborn. Preborn is awesome. They don't just save babies, they make motherhood abundantly possible. They provide free ultrasounds and share the truth of the gospel with women in crisis. And then they stay. How great is that? With real practical help. They are there, including financial support for up to 2 years after the baby is born. I say again, how awesome is that? And here's where you can make a difference. Just $28 provides a free life-saving ultrasound. One chance for a mother to see her baby. And when she does, she is twice as likely to choose life. It is incredibly powerful. Preborn is trying to save 70,000 babies this year. This is what true Christ-centered compassion looks like, not just for the baby, but for the mother too. So don't just say you're pro-life, live it. Help save babies and support mothers today. Go to preborn.com/Emily or call 855-601-2229. That's preborn.com/Emily.